And there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name is Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Ella.
Hello.
Hello. We're gonna, skip right past the Leafs, because they play tonight. They haven't played a game since our last episode that only went up yesterday. Only went up today, actually, because, I got
You're a
busy.
busy bee.
Well, it's just, I had dinner, right after we finished recording the last episode, and then I was really tired.
Hmm.
And then I was watching the Jays game with my mom, and then I just went right to bed. Actually, no, I showered and then I went right to bed. And then yesterday, I guess I could have put it up yesterday at lunch, but then yesterday, right from school, I was at the Jays game,
Ooh.
and I didn't get home till late, and I was so tired, and I was like, I just want to fall asleep. And today, I was like, okay, I gotta put this up. So I put it up this morning, but this episode won't come out till tomorrow, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Theoretically. But we're gonna we're gonna go right into the news that came out like literally as soon as we had finished recording our last episode, which is that the New Jersey Devils have fired their GM Tom Fitzgerald, which if you look at where the New Jersey Devils are in the standings, perhaps isn't the most surprising thing in the world. But also Fitzgerald still had 1 year left on his contract. So we had next season still on his contract. And I think it kind of leaves a lot of questions for the New Jersey Devils. One of which is I've already seen an early rumor that Brendan Shanahan is being considered for the president role at, at for New Jersey, which I think it would be very, very funny if
Deeply hilarious.
if if Sheldon Keefe gets fired by the Toronto Maple Leafs, notably, goes to New Jersey, notably, and then walks, his old president of hockey operations from his time in Toronto, Brendan Shanahan, who was also fired from the Toronto Maple Leafs, notably.
United.
I think it would have been really funny. Because
Deeply.
Sheldon Keefe was Kyle's guy, right? They worked together in the Sioux, and then they worked together with the Marlies, and then they worked together with the Leafs, and then when Kyle was left, they kind of held on to Sheldon for a year, and then they fired him. Still don't know why they held on to him and they didn't just fire him right away. It was stupid. It made no sense. But I think there leaves a question about what happens with Sheldon Keefe now, because I think prior to this, Sheldon Keefe might have prior to Tom Fitzgerald being fired, Sheldon Keefe might have had some semblance of job security, or as much of a semblance of job security that you can have in the NHL as a head coach if your name is not John Cooper. So I think there's some semblance of job security. Now it's a little, there's a question mark of what happens with Sheldon Keefe, because that could spur a whole other chain reaction of him getting hired, of head coaches and things like that. Who knows? I think the other question that remains is negotiations for Nico Hirscher's contract.
Yeah.
I think he has 1 year left. Should double check. Puckpedia, pull it up. Yeah, sorry. He has 1 year left. And then he is a free agent, a UFA for the first time, I believe. I think, yeah. But because his current contract is AAV of 7.25. Fun little thing. Which
Fun fact.
Besides Doug Hamilton getting 9 mil, New Jersey Devils actually have gone about building their roster pretty smartly when it comes to giving out contracts and things like that and those values. I think some of the big part is having Jack Hughes and Timo Meier locked in at $8 million. But yeah, I don't know what then because you then have to go through this negotiate, because he can resign come July 1. Nico Hirscher can resign that's why there's questions about would he like to stay in New Jersey. He's obviously I think part of that answer is yes, he is the captain. But I think, we've kind of seen, I think, a trend of players moving on from teams when they are still captain. Like, Quinn Hughes getting traded from the Vancouver Canucks opens a lot of discussions with certain players. Not that I'm saying that Nico Hischier is going to jump ship like Quinn Hughes did with the Vancouver Canucks and go somewhere else. But, like, you start to look at Brady Tkachuk a little bit differently in Ottawa, with he's going into 2 years left on his contract into next season. I mean, and obviously there's some questions there, especially, with recent discussions on a certain podcast, and then questions asked in the media about said podcast, which I think if you put something out publicly, the media has all the right in the world to ask you about it because you did it. If you didn't want them to ask you about it, it's a podcast. You can edit it. If I didn't want to be asked about something that I said on a podcast, that we said on this podcast, like, I can cut it out. I have that power. I've done it before.
Also, you can't complain that people are asking you about a podcast that you actively promote.
Do with your brother, who's also in the NHL, had an episode in which it was with your dad, who played in the NHL. And then in said episode where your dad was overly critical of not just your brother's NHL team, but also, and as much as you could deny it and say that it's about, it was all about the Florida Panthers, that whole conversation. No, there were some jabs poked at the Ottawa Senators in that same paragraph, I guess, that same quote from Keith Tkachuk. Like, you can deny if you didn't want that to be something that you get asked about, because it's going to be something that you get asked about. You can cut it out. That's the magic of a podcast. It has to go through like an editor.
And also, it's not even like they have to put the effort in to edit it out. They can just go, oh yeah, by the way, hi editor. Cut that.
Just you have a producer. You have the budget, or like not have the budget, but like your show has a producer because it's like produced by a podcast company. You have a producer. You can ask for things to be removed. And like also as well, I think it's wholly unfair for you to go after your goaltender who's been really open about his mental health all season. Like, not just all season, his entire like in the for a large portion of his career. He's been very open about his mental health struggles. I shouldn't say issues. Struggles. His struggles with his mental health. Like, I know this has been after the fact, but he was just nominated for the Masterton Trophy, which we're going to talk about those nominations a little bit later. But like, I kind of wanted to get into this quickly. I'm just going to say, with New Jersey firing their GM, there's now 3 teams in the NHL who are all trying to fill the same role. And yes, you'd be like, well, what about head coaches? Yeah, I think like the demand and what's out there and the names that you can bring up for head coaches, a lot wider of a list of names to look at. It's a lot longer of a nice list of names to look at than like who can make a competent GM. So I think now there's 3 teams trying to fill the same role, and it's going to be very competitive trying to fill that role overlappingly at the same time. They're all doing the search, and they're all probably in the same phase of the search at the same time. So anyway, something to keep in mind between Nashville, Toronto, and New Jersey. They're all looking for GMs. And they're all in like very interesting spots in where their roster is and things like that, and like what phase of their team's like life cycle of like competitiveness it is in. So it's very interesting to look at in terms of like Nashville, like theoretically on paper you're like, oh, that's a great roster for 2017. Like, if you look at like the big names, you're like, oh, Stamkos, oh, Marchessault, oh, Ryan O'Reilly. That's a great like sort of
like, wow, I love
Roman Josi. That's like a great core to have if it's 2017.
And then you like look at your calendar.
It's 2026.
Oh, that Like,
They're just all old now. Like, that's the thing.
yeah,
Is like
because, like,
Steven Stamkos has been scoring out of his ass. But like everyone on that team is like not everyone on that team, I should say. Like Luke Evangelista's there, but like
but it's
the
like this
core of
team was
that
good
team
9
and
years
like the
ago.
leaders of that team of like and who's supposed to be like building up your roster is like old now. It's like interesting. But anyways, moving on to back to this Brady Tkachuk thing, because I do have opinions about it. I do have opinions about the Ottawa Senators, and like here's the thing, and you kind of have to go back to before this episode with Keith Tkachuk, and you have to go back to when the Leafs. It all comes back to the Toronto Maple Leafs, apparently, but that first game against Anaheim this season, Radko Gudas injures. Radko Gudas injures Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews' season is over. A lot of the conversation about the hit and about everything and about the suspension is nothing at all about, hey, Radko Gudas made a dirty play. It's all about, oh, the lack of reaction from the Toronto Maple Leafs towards Radko Gudas, you know, despite them then like going around and like showing a reaction to the rest of the Anaheim Ducks. They just didn't give a reaction in the moment. Whatever. We could talk about that. Whatever. That was a topic of discussion. The Tkachuk brothers on their podcast talked about it and were like this. And Brady said, and there's a clip, and it's not like, oh, someone pulled the clip and like someone went through the podcast and pulled the clip and like posted it. No, the like social media accounts of the podcast, whatever, it's like Wingman Podcast or something stupid, of the podcast, posted it. Like the promotion, and I understand like the Tkachuk brothers probably aren't in charge of the day-to-day promotion of their podcast and like what gets clipped and put onto social media, but it's put out there. So you have to understand, at least if you're somewhat aware after the fact that this clip has been posted, that you said these things and now it's been pushed to a wider audience who aren't going to go and listen to your podcast. Because I have not once sat through a full episode of their stupid podcast because I think it's irritating and annoying.
No.
I think like they're the last two hockey players who I would have wanted to put in front of, like they're the last two set of brothers in the NHL who I would have wanted to be put in front of podcast mics in that context, like they are the Kelsey brothers, because at least the Kelsey brothers have some semblance of likability, where like the Tkachuk brothers just like aren't likable. Like you could like them for like, I don't think their personalities make them very likable, and I think people are gonna be like, well, you don't know them, but like they do all this good stuff in their community, so you can be a good person and I can still find you annoying. Oh my god, you can donate to charity, you can go hang out with children in hospital. I can still find your personality irritating. That doesn't make like you any better or any worse of a person. It just makes my opinion of your personality not what people want it to be, or not what you're trying, not what you want. Like you don't want people to find you annoying. I don't know. But anyways, they go and said on their podcast, Brady Tkachuk goes, this would never fly on my team. We always would stand up for each other. This would never happen. If something similar like this happened on my team, which Brady, keep in mind, you are the captain. So watch your words there, buddy. But if this it would never play out like this. We would have our backs. We would go after the guy. Blah, 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 blah. Then the worst like week for the Ottawa Senators happens when it comes to the health of their defensemen. It starts again in a game against New York. JT Miller cross-checks Thomas Chabot in the arm, no call on the play, and Thomas Chabot is out 4 to 8 weeks. He's just started skating today, but he's out 4 to 8 weeks with a broken arm.
Yeah.
JT Miller. The response from, also keep in mind that Jake Sanderson has like already been injured at this point, and like something that's totally unrelated that happened before the Ducks incident. But like Jake Sanderson's out in this game against the New York Rangers. Thomas Chabot is your number one defenseman. He is your number one guy. That guy also wears a letter. He also is the longest serving member of your team and has been there longer than anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, so Tom, like, and guess what? What happens when JT Miller cross-checks Thomas Chabot and injures him and potentially, like, not potentially, takes him out of the game when you're already missing your number one defenseman. So you have Thomas Chabot back to playing 28 minutes a night because he is your new number one defenseman. Nothing. You do nothing. If you don't go after, why? Because is that your Team USA Olympic teammate who you won a gold medal with? But he broke your teammate's arm. You're no longer teammates with JT Miller in this moment of time. You're teammates with Thomas Chabot. So, you're not going to go after him. Okay. The next game, they're playing the Florida Panthers, your brother's team, and your rookie teammate who's in his second or third game of his NHL career, who you had to call up because all your other defensemen get hurt, is injured and concussed and is out of the game. And what do? You don't go out. Noah Gregor gets kicked out of the game in that moment, yes. But what do you don't go after the rest of the Florida Panthers being like, you took my guy, I'm going to take your guy out. No, you didn't. Why? Is that your brother's team? Do you not want to upset your brother because your brother's teammate injured your rookie? Okay. Then, you're playing the Buffalo Sabres. But Logan Stanley's here. And last time you played against Logan Stanley, when he was a member of the Winnipeg Jets, he punched you, personally, Brady Tkachuk, in the face. And so now, because it's personal and it's an affront against you, you have to fight 6'7" Logan Stanley and get your payback. And it's not even a fair fight. You fucking turtle halfway. Like, you drop the gloves and you turtle. Like, he wails on you. And you went after him because he punched you in the face last time you played him. So but because it was an affront against you personally, then you're going to have a response. But not when it's against your but this doesn't happen in my team. In my team, if someone got injured, we would go after the guy who did it. Show me proof, because I've yet to see it happen, and you've had like 4 defensemen get hurt since you've said that. And not in like freak accidents. No, they've been injured by other players by players of the teams you're playing against. So show me the month. Like, you can't sit on your podcast and say crap and then go out there and be like, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, talk shit about this team that I don't know what goes on in that room. And maybe you have some idea because you're all buddies with Austin Matthews at the Olympics. I don't know, because it's your Olympic captain.
So what?
And then you're in Florida. While you're in Florida, by the way, and your rookie got concussed and Lassie Thompson got hurt, you're yakking away on your podcast with your dad and your brother, and in that whole Florida road trip, in Ottawa's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, Linus Ullmark does not start. Now, in any other circumstance of it being a Saturday night game, it's March, so you're nearing the end of the season, so points are crucial, you're in the playoff hunt, and it's a division opponent, so there's an opportunity for a 4-point swing there. You would yes, the starter, you expect the starter to be, not in every situation, but you kind of expect the starting goaltender to be your starter. Your aforementioned, your Linus Ullmark, your $8.25 million man. Right? But Linus Ullmark doesn't start. It's James Reimer instead in net. Ottawa loses that game, which, okay. But in the comments about it, Travis Green, all he says, and I think Travis Green has actually handled this situation really well, and I have to applaud him for it. All he says, and I think his words have gotten twisted and misquoted since this, but if you go back and look, all he says is Linus needs a rest. Doesn't say what it's for. Doesn't say it's a physical thing. Doesn't say it's a mental thing. We now know in hindsight, because Linus Ullmark got nominated for the Masterton, he sat down with members of the Sens media and did an sort of exclusive. He sat down with select members of Sens media, probably just the PHWA, which is the Professional Hockey Writers Association, who decides on the Master nominations, probably just with like who the members of the Ottawa chapter, so not everyone, but select. He sat down with them and gave an interview in which he then revealed it was because of mental health. It was because he was struggling with mental health that day, and he felt that his performance, if he went in net, would be, because of how his head was and how his mental health was, would have been so much worse than if James Reimer just got the start. Right? Like the replacement of either having Linus Ullmark, who was going through such a bad day mentally that he did not, like, would have been worse than having James Reimer start. So who knows, even if Linus Ullmark played that game, whether the Sens would have won or lost still. You don't know, right?
No.
Odds are they probably would have still lost anyway. So then you're like, hey, maybe the Senators need to play better.
Like, I don't know, crazy concept.
Have we considered the option of the Ottawa Senators simply just playing better? I actually want to, like, because I think it was a close game. I want to double check before I, like, really go all in on it here. Let me just pull up the game center from this one. Okay, so it was a 4-2 game, which is 4-2 game in the Sens had a 2-0 lead after one.
So then it's like, I don't know, at what point do you just need to be consistently good and not just good for a bit, start winning, and then drop off? I don't know. What do I know? What do I know?
Yeah. But anyways, doesn't matter. Like, oh wow. Anyways, like, they're in a playoff spot now. Oh, sorry. Well, like, hey, if come April 16th, the Sens miss the playoffs by 2 points, okay. Maybe we'll look back at this game. But also, you could probably do that with 7 other games that they did not get. Like, you could probably go back to a game in November when their goaltending was abysmal.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, if they had won that game, they'd have made the playoffs. Like, I'm not going to play that game. It's so stupid and dumb. But anyways, they go on this said podcast. And it's also important to note that, yes, the Florida Panthers are dealing with an unbearable amount of injuries to the point that it's ridiculous. And they aren't icing an NHL roster. It's an AHL roster, basically. They have so many guys out hurt. And it's, anyways, Keith Kachuk is on this podcast. And he's going on about, like, oh, back in my day, like, no, everyone was playing through injuries. No one was out with injuries, you know, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no one's like, oh, my finger hurt. Oh, I slept badly and isn't playing. And then which, like, is of reference to the, is of reference to, like, the Florida Panthers, because it seems that, like, even if you have one little thing that's bugging you, you're out of the lineup. You're on the injured list. They're really all in on the tank. But then there's a comment that he throws in at the end where he mentions Grant Fuhr, and he goes, Grant Fuhr was playing 72 games a year, and, like, he was the toughest guy I knew. He never took a day off. You know, he was playing back-to-backs all the time. Which seems as then a reference, because I don't remember Sergei Bobrovsky ever taking a day off, ever. You know what I mean? Like, ever being like, I need a day off. Like, he's one of the last true, like, platoon, like, not platoon, that's the wrong word, but he's, like, one of the last true, like, starting goaltenders who will give you 65 games a year plus a playoff run.
Yeah.
One of the last who will do that, who has that durability, which is, like, fine if that's not goaltenders across the league. Like, yes, positions can change. We've already seen them change. Like, there used to not be a backup goaltender. That used to not be a thing. Goaltenders also used to not wear masks. Oh, the position has changed. Oh, they used to not go down in the butterfly. Oh, the position has changed. Evolution happens. It's fine. The game's gotten faster and more physical. Like, it makes sense that guys that like goaltenders can't play 82 games a year.
Yeah.
Anyways, which that seems then as a jab, like as a comment towards Linus Ullmark and him taking a night off because of his mental health, something he's been open about that he's been dealing with all season. It's why he had to take a leave away from the team because he was having panic attacks in a game against the Toronto Maple Leafs this season, in which he allowed 4 goals and 16 shots and was pulled from the game.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't, like, you can't be an NHL captain if you're Brady Tkachuk, or wear a letter if you're Matthew Tkachuk. Have your dad on a podcast, have him openly criticize your team and your teammates, and then expect people to not ask you about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is then he's like, well, I don't know why you're asking me about it. Because you said it and put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, it's no different than any other time any athlete ever has said anything ever on the internet and has then been asked about it. That happens every single year. I don't want to say every single day, but that probably happens like once a week across sports. An athlete says something on the internet or in an interview or in an article or whatever and is then asked about it for either further clarification or what he meant by it or the comments or whatever, because that's the way that, like, that's the expectation. You as a son of an NHLer should know that. You should know that.
Yeah.
That should be something that is like, if you don't know it, should be established to you when you start a podcast. I do think the irony in this statement from Keith Tkachuk, where he's talking about like, oh, back in my, like, you know, guys played hurt all the time. They played like 82 games, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Keith Tkachuk played one singular full season in his NHL career.
Oh, that's
That
right.
was a full 82 game season. He played one season that was shortened to 48 games. He played a full season with the Winnipeg Jets. And all this time was with the Winnipeg Jets. That was within the first 5 years of his NHL career. By the time he got to Phoenix, he then did not play a single full season in the NHL.
Interesting.
He played 41 games. Like, so what is this? Oh, you were saying, Keith, about how, you know, guys, you know, played hurt through things?
Interesting. Like, I don't know, maybe you should remember that. Maybe you should remember how maybe you should just remember the one single full season you actually played.
Yeah,
And it's not like there was many. I mean,
no,
hard
there
to
was like
forget.
3, and one of them was 48 games long. Because that was the
Mm-hmm.
length of the NHL season at that point. Not at that point, but like that year, it was 48 games long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I also then think it's really funny because Brady Tkachuk was then asked about this and like, oh, what was your dad talking about? Like, was talking about your team and like Brady Tkachuk referred to his dad as a future NHL, like a future Hockey Hall of Famer.
It's like, yeah, okay.
I was like, Brady, your dad hasn't won anything. He's not going. They're not gonna put him in, like, he's not even a point per game player in his career.
No.
Oh, he scored 538 goals. Okay. In 1,200 games.
Like, I'm not
Also,
being
he
funny.
retired 16 years ago. If he was going to be put into the Hockey Hall of Fame, he would have been put in the Hockey Hall of Fame by now. They
Like, I'm
usually
not being
do
funny.
these
I
sort
think
of things unless you're like Alexander McGinley, who took forever to get into Hockey Hall of Fame because, like, Russia. You're not, like, he's in at this point. Like, you're either in or you're not. Like, if it's been 16 years after the end of your career,
It's like, I don't know,
And they
maybe
haven't
it's time to
called you
let it
yet,
go.
they're probably not going to call you because guess what? New guys get added to the available pool of who they can pick from every year. And so your dad probably gets bumped further and further down the list. Like, he's not a Hall of Famer. He hasn't won anything.
No. Like,
His,
way
his,
more
car-
likely.
his career, as long as it's been, which 1,200 games is impressive, like, I don't know.
Like, maybe just accept it. It's not for everyone.
It's it's not the Hall of Pretty Good. The other comment about this podcast that I have to, this one singular podcast episode that I have to get out, is at one point Brady Tkachuk like complains about his ice time going down. Like he has less ice time this season.
Oh, boo
Um,
fucking who, get a grip. You
then
know
he
who
has
cares? No one.
like in previous seasons, um, in his career, and I think it's really funny because like your average ice time has gone down by a minute over, like, it's been like
Mm.
in 2023 2024 he played 19 minutes, a 1909 average time on ice. In 24-25 it was 1814, and this season so far, in 58 games played, it's been 1704 of average time on ice. Brady, I'd like you to like look around your locker room and realize that probably in your entire time that you've been with the Ottawa Senators, this is the most forward depth your team has ever had. This is
Mm.
probably the best addition. Like, if the Ottawa Senators can get a save in the playoffs, they're going to be unbelievably dangerous.
Yeah.
But this has probably been the best Ottawa Senators team that has been built roster-wise, roster construction-wise, in your entire time in the NHL. In your entire time with the
Mm.
Ottawa Senators organization, it's probably been the best team that's ever been built for you to play on. And the reason why your ice time is probably not a minute less, that's like a shift. You're getting one less, maybe two less shifts a night. Oof.
Mm.
Oof.
He's very
Wow,
outdone by Emma.
that's such an impact to your ability. Like, because you know why? Because those one or two shifts where you would probably be double shifted at the end of the game can now be like taken on by guys who are like really like the Shane Pintos and the Ridley Greggs and the Michael Amadios of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
Like, you have actual real forward depth now. It's not just like two lines and then a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, like, it's the dumbest thing in the world to be complaining about. And then he takes a jab at like his coach. It's like, why are you taking a jab at your coach?
It's like, this isn't gonna, like, put your minutes back up.
No, you can't. I think the last man, like, within the Ottawa Senators organization who you can bully into getting what you want is Travis Green.
Mm. Like, come
He
on.
scares me. Travis Green scares me, and I've never met the man.
Yeah. I fear him.
I don't know. I was like, oh my god. Anyways, not everyone should get podcasts. That's why you should listen to us.
Like,
Hashtag
we didn't
self
complain about our
promo.
ice time.
Yeah, we're not complaining about our ice time because our ice time's a big bet 0, and I think I'd like it to stay that way.
Yeah, I think we're quite happy with it, to be honest. We're not ones to complain.
No. Yeah, so I mentioned it a couple times, so I guess I'll move on to it. Masterton nominations were announced today for every chapter, so all 32 teams, each respective chapter of the PHWA, which is the Professional Hockey Writers Association, select their nomination for who they believe the player on the team that they write about best exemplifies best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to ice hockey. So some notable ones, because like, and I'm not trying to be like mean about this, but like, because it is a trophy that was named in honor of Bill Masterton, who is still to this day remains the only NHLer to have died on the ice as a direct result of an NHL game. He was cut by a skate blade while playing in net for the Minnesota North Stars. Last year, Sean Monahan won it, but some, like, every year, it, like, the nominations fall into, like, one of 3 categories. It's, like, really old guy who's, like, sort of nearing, is at the end of his career or is sort of nearing the end of his career. It's guy who, you know, is not that old of a guy, but, like, maybe struggled through a little bit of injury this year, or just like played every game this season, or just played really well. And then there's guy who had the most tragic, unfortunate thing happen to him, where either him, someone close to him, almost died, or did, or he suffered like a almost career-ending injury, or like, you know,
like he has witnessed the horrors.
Witness the horrors. And it's like it falls in, it's every year. It's like falls into 3 tiers of categories of like the types of Bill, like it's like, cuz you like look through the list and you're like, "Oh yeah. Like okay, like Clayton Keller got nominated like Clayton Keller, like Jordan Binnington, Oliver Ekman-Larsson like got nominated alongside like Rasmus Dahlin, whose wife had to have a heart transplant over the summer, and he had to miss games because he had to fly back to Sweden because she had a medical emergency. Connor Ingram and Connor Ingram and Spencer Knight, who were 2 goaltenders who had to go, and Linus Ullmark falls into this category as well, had to go to the NHLPA like player assistance program due to mental health struggles, and have now come back and have played really well in the NHL. Like stuff like that, or like now people are gonna, like, I know people are gonna have criticism of it because it's Jonathan Toews, and like terrible person, was in Chicago, like had active knowledge of the Kyle Beach, like what was happening to Kyle Beach, and did nothing. But like also, if you take that part out, I can see the reason why he was nominated in the bubble vacuum of like what happens on the ice, because he was like, he, was forced into retirement because he suffered long COVID, like the impacts of long COVID, took multiple years off of hockey to try and figure out how he could play hockey, has come back and is playing hockey after like a multiple year break. But like, also at the same time, why is Jordan Binnington here?
Yeah. Like, oh, what, you traumatized from your girlfriend pissing in the cup? Like,
every time that gets mentioned, I remember that she's an actress from Degrassi whose character was that shit crazy. And I think a lesbian, if I'm remembering the right one.
Oh, brilliant. But I'm just like, Jordan, what are you doing there, Jordan? Man.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, oh my god, wait, she was on Degrassi. Her character was actually, I think, clinically insane.
She's just method, alright?
Yeah, I do like Boston's nomination as Charlie McAvoy, who's probably being nominated on the basis of you have had every single tooth in your mouth disintegrated.
Yeah.
Because you keep getting hit in the face by things. Like, I think that's why he was nominated.
Yeah, it's like they just saw his like dentist bills and went, you know what? Yeah, you've suffered.
You deserve an award. Here's an award. But like falling into the like, oh, he's just an old man category. Actually, wait, no, didn't Jamie Benn have a collapsed lung this season?
Yeah.
So readjusting, falling into old man category. Anze Kopitar, Brad Marchand, um, Alex Ovechkin, Taylor Hall. I guess we can classify that. Boone Jenner.
They're just old.
They're just old. I read why they nominated Oliver Ekman-Larsson. It's just because he's old and he played a bunch of games
It's like
as
when you take
Toronto's
your
best
dog.
defenseman.
Yeah, if this you see
And
when they
his
just
like,
nominate the old guys, it feels like when you take your dog before you get it put down, and you're
and you
like,
like feed it
have a
chocolate.
burger, have some chocolate.
Here, have
It's
a
like
grape.
dog's last day, and it's like have an award.
I just like some of these nominations, and like this is not any shame against these players at all.
Oh no, I just find it deeply hilarious.
I find it
Sometimes.
deep. Like, why is Clayton? What is there something I missed about Clayton Keller this season? Like, I get it. I get it that it's like perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to ice hockey. It does not say, "Oh, you were traumatized by the sport of hockey," but it's kind of turned into
But
who's
it
had
is
the
a.
best sob story this season. Because
Mm,
if you look at the list of previous winners, it's like Sean Monahan, whose best friend died tragically.
yeah.
It's Connor Ingram, who, like mental health crisis, was
Mm,
diagnosed with OCD, had to enter the player assistant program. It's Chris Letang, who had 2 strokes and a hole in his heart repaired.
yeah.
It's Carey Price, who was like, he hit the trifecta of playing really well, crazy injury, and can't play anymore, and also old man.
Mm.
He hit the trifecta. Oscar Lindblom won one year. Bobby Ryan won, which like if you don't know Bobby Ryan's like life story, they probably will end up making a movie about it one day
Mm.
because it's nuts. Sorry, he's barking.
Oh.
He was in here. He's barking because he thinks he's alone. I'm literally in the same room. Oh, Robin
Brilliant.
Leonard, again, same thing. Tragic sob story. Craig Anderson, sob story, because it was like the
Mm.
season his wife had cancer and he came back.
Yeah.
Jaromir Jagr, old man, like the
Mm.
old man.
He's like the old man.
Like, and this is not, again, to like minimize any of this, but also like
Mm.
it's become the sob story. Like, it's turned into the sob story like award. Who has the biggest sob story? And
Mm.
I don't know. Um, which is what it's kind of turned into.
Yeah.
Um, another thing as well, we're gonna do the Leafs last, actually. Another thing as well is there was an article in the Athletic that was written today that was written by Joshua Cloakey that was put up onto the Athletic website today about the NHL Follow Tracker account
God.
on Twitter.
Oh, is that why I saw everyone like posting about it?
Yes.
Oh, I was
So
slightly confused because I was like, guys, I thought we were all over this.
no, so it's been brought back. So
Oh, Christ.
it's this article written by Joshua Cloakey. It's actually a well-written article, I will say. People will
Mm.
like criticize the concept of it. It's a well-written article. I just think some of the people he got for quotes was a little bit funny. It was just a little bit funny.
Mm.
But it's essentially he talks to the guy who created the bot, which I think is cool. It's a man. A man who like does not
Mm.
know that much about hockey. Like
Which is like deeply hilarious.
deeply hilarious. It's a man who like was like, oh, I was bored and I wanted to code stuff. And I didn't know that much about hockey. Who did it? Got some quotes from Dylan Gunther, who kind of sort of like went semi-viral for following the gold medal game at the Olympics and men's ice hockey. He unfollowed Dylan Gunther, who is, Olin Zellweger. It was Olin Zellweger, because Dylan Gunther's on the Utah Mammoth. Olin Zellweger's in Anaheim. Both are Canadian. Both played on like same Canadian World Juniors team together, but Olin Zellweger went through and like unfollowed a bunch of like of the prominent like American players on Team USA.
Mm.
Olin Zellweger, who is Canadian, who did it like while his team was at like Disney World.
Just sure.
But so like talked to him and told him like he didn't really like realize, he like kind of done it out of frustration and like didn't really realize that would blow up because he wasn't really aware of the follow tracker. And now like players are aware of it, which is like, yeah, no shit. I'm sorry. I think Dylan Strome was on that. There's a reason why I think Dylan Strome's Instagram is private now. And it's because of that follow tracker. Because if there's one man who is so chronically online when it comes to Twitter that he would know about the follow tracker and be cognizant to then private his Instagram, it's Dylan Strome of the Washington Capitals.
Oh yeah.
But like then it goes on, it like explains and it talks to different hockey players about like privacy and how they feel they're entitled to their own privacy. And I think like Owen Power put it in a great way in this article. If I can, I just want to like quote him properly, so I'm just gonna pull up the article. But I think here we go. Troy Stetcher is also quoted in this going, the whole league knows about it. It's pretty invasive. But Elliot, you can't do this mid-up. Ron Francis is stepping down in Seattle.
Huh?
We can't.
Well, we're talking about the follow tracker.
I want to talk about the follow tracker.
Yeah.
Also, I guess, well, that's like, whatever. Anyways.
God.
I want to find this Owen Power. Oh, here we go. I can't remember this. Why am I like not finding this Owen Power quote in here? I will say it doesn't matter. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I think it was something about how like it's public, like it's fair game. Like I understand that if it bothered me that much, I'd just private my account. So essentially. But then also as well, like then it goes on to there's this great paragraph that says multiple players who asked not to be named suggested NHL Follow Tracker has been a source of frustration for single NHLers who use Instagram to meet people for romantic purposes. Because you know the ones where they come through and it's like you can tell a guy's like clearing a roster or like or like just following a bunch of girls. I think it's really funny. Personally, and it's like pretty amusing, and but I can understand where the frustration comes from. But like then it goes on to like here. It's like the next paragraph is like when Maple Leafs and Team USA captain Austin Matthews followed Vanessa Piono on March 3rd. There was confusion on X or Twitter as Matthews was believed to have been in a relationship with Piono for months.
What a phrase! What a
I
sentence!
remember that day though too because everyone was like, "Wait, we're supposed to be shocked by this?" Like
It's like, wait, what? No
hard
way.
launch by the NHL Follow Tracker account.
It's like, whoa, folk found in kitchen, guys.
My favorite part about this whole article, that is actually a very interesting one that kind of like opens the discussion about privacy and things like that. But like also there is ways to still be on the internet and still be on social media and maintain privacy. It's called having a private account,
Mm,
right? Like I think also it's important to note for like NHLers that people can just like go into your following and like see who you're following if your account's public.
yeah.
Like so it's like this bot is like okay, it's giving more of a platform for that because it's like showing what you follow and unfollow. But like also if someone really wanted to, they could just go through and like
Mm.
look at stuff.
And also, like, I know it's like the whole privacy thing. I just don't think it's that deep.
I don't think it's that deep either because it's not like oh, you followed a new account on Twitter, like oh, but like people would have seen that you follow them
Mm,
anyways because if your account is public, which these accounts like this follow tracker only does the public accounts,
yeah.
like people can just go and look anyways.
'Cause it's like it's like I think like if there was if like I had a follow tracker and it kept like tweeting about who I followed and unfollowed, I'd just be like, well, it's all just like stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like it feels like we have nothing to hide. It's just like it'd be like new people I meet. It would be like things I'm interested in, but which
Mm.
like,
It's like I don't know,
oh
maybe just don't follow controversial
yeah.
people if you don't
Oh,
want people to
yeah,
pick up
you
on
don't
it.
want to be criticized for who you follow on Instagram. Well, maybe don't go follow right-wing political accounts.
Mm. Or like if you are so firm in your right-wing beliefs, then why are you pressed that
Uh,
people are now
don't
aware that
like
you
you
follow
for
them?
it or criticizing you for it. Exactly. I do think it's really funny because Clokey got quotes from two different Toronto Maple Leafs on this story. One of them being Troy Stetcher, who is not the most online guy in the world, but like
Mm.
his wife has a fiance, partner, has a TikTok account that he's been like in a little bit.
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen the video of like trying to get
Yeah.
like trying to get a guy to do the things that guys can't do and stuff like it's very
Mm.
funny. But
It's really
like so
funny.
he's not totally like offline from the world, right? Like he's okay
No.
with being in stuff like that. I think he has an Instagram. I don't know how often it's updated. Again, I don't follow a lot of hockey players on Instagram. It's just not my speed. It's not my interest. I don't care. Also,
Mm.
as well, if something important that I would want to see gets posted, it usually gets like reposted onto Twitter and I'll see it
Yeah.
anyways.
Or just like sent to you.
Or just like,
A
yeah,
lot of the
people will
time
send
by
it to
me.
me. Yeah. Or like Randy will send me like William Nylander stuff and it's like, oh, I don't have
Yeah.
to follow William Nylander. Like, all good. The other person who was quoted for this story was Mr. I am so offline. I went on a hike through the Alps by
They
myself
did.
without my phone,
No.
Joseph Wool. Mr. I didn't have an
Mr. fucking
Instagram.
carrier pigeon.
I am so offline that I deleted, like, deactivated my Instagram account when I got called up to the Toronto Maple Leafs and only reactivated it when I got hurt, like, 4 years into my time in Toronto. And because I was so unbelievably bored while I was hurt that I reactivated. Like, Mr. I post only once every 6 months, and half of it is sponsored content.
This is
Mr. I'm the like Mr. who's the hardest guy to get a hold of on the team,
mm,
who will never pick up his phone. You asked
No,
Joseph
because it's like it's one
Wool
of those
for his
things where it's like
opinion. Like, and I would probably respect Joseph Wool's opinion on a lot of things. I don't think I
this.
like would respect his opinion on this because it's like, dude, you aren't on the internet.
Yeah, it's like I'm not being funny. He's so offline. It's like and like so hard to get in touch with. It's like you put me and him in a room, and I think he might be harder to contact than I am, and that's saying something.
It's saying something because it's like half of my texts to you are check what I sent you on X platform.
Yeah.
Check your Twitter DMs. Check your TikTok DMs. Check what I DM'd you on Instagram. Check the Discord.
And then half the time I don't.
And then half the time you don't. And then it's 2 weeks later and you respond to something going, ha ha ha, that's so funny.
And I just go, oh no way, that's crazy. And you're just
LOL.
like,
LMAO.
I just go, ha ha, capitalized. And it's
Oh
like
my
me,
god.
and it's like me holding my phone out like this, to, like type out a reply, and I go,
The one
L
finger typing.
L. And just go, ha ha.
Like, or sometimes it's like 4 o'clock for you. Oh, this thing happens. Let me call Ella. Oh, I've called Ella. Oh, I've woken her up from a nap.
And half the time it's just me. I just pick up and I go, huh? You go, oh, will you sleep? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Like, that's what we're comparing.
And I get like some breaking news that like immediately wakes me up, and I go, huh?
Yeah. But
What?
that's what we're comparing. I just think it's really funny that, like, Joseph Wool has a quote in this story. Now, I will read Joseph Wool's quote because I think the paragraph after it is really funny. But it's quote, it's two-headed. It's kind of bullshit. Like, stay out of people's business, said Maple Leafs goalie Joseph Wool. But the other side is you're on a public social media site and people subscribe to it. End quote. The next paragraph is, well, Wool put a diplomatic touch on his thoughts. Dude, he dropped a bullshit in his quote. I don't think this is diplomatic.
Like the Joseph Wall is being quoted saying bullshit. I probably
I
wouldn't
want to
choose
take that. I want to
diplomatic.
take it's kind of bullshit out of context and put that on a t-shirt. It's kind of bullshit. Joseph Wool. New merch idea coming. I gotta write that down. Send it to
Let me
Avery.
just open Canva real quick. Nope, not Canvas. Canva. I'm on holiday.
But I will say that's like on his thoughts. Stetcher was more cutting. Quote, get a life, Stetcher said. It's just really weird. So I guess it's like what's diplomatic about Joseph Wool's quote is that him going, you're on a public social media site and people subscribe to it. So like
Mm,
I don't know. I just think it's really funny. Out of all of the players
so funny.
in that Leafs locker room you could have asked, you asked the guy who hasn't posted on Instagram since let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Who hasn't posted on Instagram since July of 2025. July 28th, 2025, and it was a collab post with Cam H. So it's not even like it wasn't even his original post. He
Yeah.
just was Cam H posted it and it was a collab post that he then like reposted.
It's like also Joseph,
And then the
please.
post before that is a sponsored content with EA Sports and Apple for their made on iPad like goalie mask campaign.
We need to bring back the Hot Girl Summer photo dump.
And then the last post
Please.
that's like not like sponsored content is him at the like Kygo concert on stage with Mitch Marner from February over a year ago.
Which
So
is
yes,
crazy that it's that long ago.
Mr. And I think the last thing he put like on his story like a while ago was like when they were in Buffalo was him buying hockey cards, being like, guys, go to this card shop. It's so cool.
And I'm like,
So
oh.
yes, I think Joseph Wool is the guy whose opinions you should be asking for this story.
Like Little Miss chronically offline. Oh yeah.
Not the guy who also has a TikTok account, like has his own TikTok account. Ask William Nylander. Like, maybe you couldn't get William Nylander, and like maybe you could get like Joseph Wool was just easy for you to get for the story, but like Matthew
Really?
Nyes?
Yeah, Little Miss Capcut.
Little Miss Capcut.
Little Miss Capcut over here.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not being funny, if you manage to get Joseph Wool, Matthew Nyes will not have been far behind. They're joined at the hip.
I just like it's like he is the most offline man on that entire team. And that includes Morgan Riley, who doesn't have an Instagram anymore.
Yeah.
Because like he's married to Tessa Virtue.
She's like married to Tessa Virtue.
Like probably I think maybe the only person who you could argue is like more offline than Joseph Wool is like John Tavares on the basis that like he doesn't have his own individual Instagram account. His Instagram account is like for his foundation. But like still.
Like,
Maybe
come
you just like needed
on.
like a guy who was under the age of like 26. Actually, I think Joseph
Like,
Wool's
who on this
26.
team isn't like on their way to the nursing home?
Oh no, he's 27, so you needed a guy under the age of 20. I don't know. Should have asked Easton Cowan, I think.
Yeah.
There's a great guy for you to ask.
Like,
Mr.
come on.
Like posting all the time. Or like Max Domi. Unfortunately, I think Max Domi would have been a good quote.
Yeah, he loves being online.
Oh, look who's just posted something to their Instagram story. Easton Cowan.
It's like the child is never off his phone.
No.
God.
Anyways, I mean, there's a whole discussion that you can have about privacy in the NHL and like as a public like person as like an athlete and like what it means. And I just think if you have a public Instagram, like people are gonna scroll through your following whether you want them or not. And if you don't want them to, you can make the account private. Like,
Yeah.
like yeah, I like I don't think it's like necessarily like creepy as much as it's just like people have too much free time if they are doing that. Like I understand this like puts that information in an easier to access format of like a daily update of like what's going on.
Yeah.
But also like if someone really wanted to be like, "Oh, do you follow any?" like they can just scroll through it. Like it's not hard. It doesn't take a genius. So,
No.
yeah. I don't know. But yeah. But yeah, so Toronto plays tonight against the Washington Capitals. Stolarz is getting the start in net. And it is potentially, possibly, Alexander Ovechkin's last game in Toronto. His he has said today, I think he said in a sit-down interview that he did that was posted to the Washington Capitals like social media platform that he will take the summer to reevaluate with his family and see if like he will play another season or if he will retire. So potentially his last game in Toronto, potentially not. If he comes back another year or two. But it's gonna be weird because I don't know an NHL without Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah. Like, no, he's not allowed. He's always supposed to be there.
Yeah. Him and Sid, like that's the thing.
Yeah.
But yes, I will say Toronto plans on, like, I don't know, there was an article today that came out that was talking about how Toronto is planning to like play and work in younger talent from the Marlies as they get called up to finish off the season. And then they called up William Villeneuve and Luke Haynes and did not play them in a game.
Like,
and it's
really?
like, well, that's the time that you do it. Like, even if it means sitting a guy who like hasn't been playing that bad, like now's the time that you just like throw them in for their NHL debut. Like, but it's whatever. Now people are like, why did Hames and Villeneuve get sent down like this morning? Oh, because well, the Marlies had a game at like 10:45 and they're still very much like in the playoff run. They clinched their playoff spot today. So maybe we'll just like switch over to talking about the Toronto Marlies in the playoffs. But they clinched their playoff spot today in the Calder Cup playoffs. So that is really exciting. Congratulations to the Marlies. I think that's really fun and awesome.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I think that's all from us. So, thank you guys so much for listening. Remember, you still have a week. You have a week and a day. I guess a week because this episode's going out tomorrow. So you have a week to still nominate your Blorbo for the annual From the Fourth Line Blorbo of the Year award. Nominations close on April 16th, the last day of the season. And the Blorbo will be announced during the first round of the playoffs. So get their nominations in. Link will be in the show notes. There's also a tweet that I put out yesterday, or today, I guess, yesterday, when you're listening to this, on Wednesday, that has the link in a tweet. So go nominate your guys. So go nominate them. All of the additional information is in the voting, is in like the Google form where you can nominate your player about, how they qualify and things like that. So please go do it. Exercise your right. This is a democracy. Except it's not really because you're nominating and then we pick from the list of nominations who we want to win. So.
But also let me have fun on Canva. Nominate your most whimsy guy so I can dig up some god awful pictures of them and put them in tiaras. Do it for me.
Yeah,
for
they
only
can join.
One Blorbo nomination, you can keep Ella's Canva enrichment time going for another year.
They, they can. Your player that you select will join the esteemed ranks of previous award winners like Bobby McMahon and Connor Brown. Bobby McMahon, who actually, fun fact, has had such a boost since he was nominated 2 years ago that he no longer qualifies as a Blorbo. He's played too much time in the top 6. He is no longer a bottom 6 Blorbo. Crazy where they can get to.
Yeah, it's
so if you want that for your guy,
do for people.
If you think your guy could be nominated and could make it up and be promoted to top 6 Blorbo category,
this might be the little boost they need.
Nominate. We'll be back on Monday with another episode. In the meantime, you can follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4th. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter if you think we're absolutely hilarious or you want to see how many Jays games I'm going to. I went to one last night, so that's why my voice sounds like crap. But you can follow us over on Twitter at 60 Days for Ella, at PearB1 for myself. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we'll see you guys on Monday. And in the meantime, go Jays go. They just won today. So go Jays go.
Go Jays go.